Any team that relies on Tottenham Hotspur to get a result for them is doomed to fail in whatever pursuit of any trophy or any objective they have. Now, shame on some of you Arsenal fans for supporting Tottenham Hotspur. I made out for this game against City. I made the video. I tried to warn you people. It's not the way to go. Do not sell your soul. I get the logic. I get the rhetoric. But if a team is reliant on Spurs, winning a game against Manchester City at this crucial period in the season against big bad Pep Guardiola and Manchester City with a four Premier League trophies in a row off the back of an FA Cup final to come, going out of the Champions League, you're bugging out, people. Now, people can laugh at Arsenal Football Club. We've choked the title, etc., etc. Disclaimer, don't shoot the messenger. I'm not saying anything. I'm going to swing that over to the Liverpool fans, big them up, because technically, out of Arsenal, Manchester City and Liverpool were on top of the Premier League tree for the longest amount of days. And, it's well known Arsenal were at the top for over 200 odd days. We go again, when the banter is settled. I know Spurs fans, some of them wanted to lose the game, because it obviously means Arsenal have a mountain of sorts to climb, so close, but yet so far to climb in terms of, winning the Premier League. I've got more hope for David Moyes. I think David Moyes' team are going to get smoked on the final day against Manchester City. But it's David Moyes' last game. It's Declan Rice's former club. It's a crazy day of Premier League football. And actually, the final day is going to be cruel because it's gone down to the wire. While that has also shown an improvement, because this time last year it was over for us, you're actually technically going to have a podium and all that stuff set up at the Emirates for what City are going to go with it. It's almost going to be like when City picked United with that Aguero moment. As I said, any football club that is reliant on Spurs getting a result, much less against Manchester City, much less in a game, in a game of this magnitude with the context, doesn't deserve to win the Premier League. Of course, saying doesn't deserve, it's a bit too far, because in many ways you look at the wins we've got, the defensive record, the goals being scored, the goals being shared out, the set piece goals, the goals off the bench, and all these other metrics. It shows an improvement, but yet we're so close, but so far. And it's a difficult one because you have to near enough be perfect against Manchester City to win a Premier League title. Of course, being perfect is almost it's impossible. Arteta has shown an improvement. Maybe there's things we could have done internally on the recruitment front to give us a different reality. We've even coped with injuries, but at the end of the day, football's a simple game. At the end of it, Manchester City win. Now, there's many games we could look to. We could look to the Newcastle away game, which I feel we didn't create enough in that game, let alone have opportunities to score, where VAR did us a bit dirty. Ironically, I feel Chelsea at Stamford Bridge and Spurs at the Emirates, we shot ourselves in the foot in those games. We shot ourselves in the foot against Fulham at the Emirates. We obviously let ourselves down, which was probably our worst Premier League performance of the season, Fulham away. Aston Villa have done the double over us. Of course, we've started 2024 in blisteringly great form. And when you're fighting City for a trophy, of course, you never want to lose a game. There's never a right time to lose. It's probably written in the stars. Emery was going to get the double over us and definitely beat us at our place. For the players and Mikel Arteta in these defeats, there's probably stuff we could do a lot better. And again, we'll have to look to that December period. While it's romantic, we came out of that December period. Technically, we lost our first game in January against Liverpool, I believe, and we've been one of the best teams in the league this season. And this year, we was at a point was clearing out stadiums up and down the country. Phenomenal record against the top six. It just shows at this level, the margins, even with the Champions League, we gave a semi-good account of ourselves in the Champions League. We didn't embarrass ourselves, but there is a feeling of what if against Bayern Munich. So we're on the right trajectory. We're doing well. When the dust settles, people can run their bants about Arsenal. We haven't won a league title, but they will know we've improved and there's many things we could do better. And Spurs fans can run jokes. Obviously, listen, the game's the game. Why would you want your rivals to win the league title? But your players definitely wanted to get in the Champions League, and your manager, because the players get nice wages. Indirectly, obviously, the Premier League have a lot of money, but indirectly, Spurs have shot themselves in the foot. Levy's a tight one where it comes to spending money anyways. Champions League makes it less attainable. Son, I don't think Son missed on purpose. Obviously, on another day, probably puts it in the back of the net. I think the players and the manager wanted to win. Obviously, the very fact that I thought my initial prediction was 4-1 City. At halftime, those of you, big up you lot that were part of my watch along, you would have heard me say I'm going with 2-0 City. And City did what most teams have done against Spurs when they've won. You know, City just did the competent things. They just played football in a positive way. It was a 6 out of 10. Spot on defensively. Yeah, there were some hairy moments. You know, Hope Edison's all right. There were some hairy moments, but they just sat in their block, defended well, passed the ball, took the sting out of the game where they could, and got their goals. I did think Spurs, by what could have happened in this game, they did compete, they did have their chances. You know, Postecoglou is probably the most pragmatic I saw him play this season. And yeah, but anytime your fate in life is in the hands of others, you're in trouble, and football is the same. As I was saying before I started speaking about that, there's plenty of games we could have, would have, should have done better this season, and plenty of them really, even games we've won. But I'm not going to lie. Ironically, I will look to that West Ham game at the Emirates where it felt like we created a million chances. So on top of probably bringing in a winger, a striker, etc., there's still a mountain to climb in that. It's so close, but so far, really and truly. And you just have to look at those defeats. We've been so perfect, man. Good away form as well. There's several good statistics and stuff for us to build upon. But ultimately, in the last 2 years, and especially this year, where everything's kind of been plain sailing, unfortunately, 20 years from now, there's nothing that's going to be etched in history. Now, of course, if you have a small glimmer of hope, you're hoping David Moyes can do his protege Mikel Arteta a favor. Arteta, who, you know, David Moyes got the better of him this year, return the favor and do something. But it's better said that, you know, it's easier said than done. And ifs and buts have no place in football. But had we of, done anything in the 2 games against Fulham, against Aston Villa, against Spurs at the Emirates, against Chelsea away from home, Newcastle away, had we have picked up even 3 points, really and truly, 6 points would have been ideal. Had we have picked up 3 points from these fixtures, where would we be? The only draw I would say, yeah, I can accept that, was obviously the approach where we went to the Etihad. So there's plenty of reasons to be optimistic, but there's also plenty of reasons to kind of be a bit harsh on our players, because there's no shame in losing out to Manchester City. But it's a marathon, not a sprint. City's form against the top 6 is actually quite poor, but they've shown it's a marathon. They're kicking to get at the right time. And also, I'm pretty sure they've gone on, I could be wrong, but they've gone on beating themselves since December, and they've broke a couple of statistics, really. So it just shows how difficult this battle is. But again, internally, we haven't, in my opinion, 2 things can live in the same realm. We haven't won this Premier League trophy, or not going to win, because again, it's still going to the final day because of how good City have been. But there's been times we've shot ourselves in the foot, man. So I'm proud of my boys, but obviously you want to start to win trophies. Hopefully we can go again next year, innit? Really, that's all I've got to really say. So yeah, on that note, smash the like button, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know your thoughts. Are you optimistic in relation to the West Ham game? Where are you at? Peace. P, that your team lost.
What, magnificent before what? Rare golden glove, yeah?
Brother, your team is not getting Champions League. Your team lost the game. Why are you? You see why Tottenham Hotspur is a club filled with losers, and you'll never win stuff. You're happy about losing. What are you talking about?
Do we deserve to be in Champions League? I don't care.
No one knows, bro. Nobody knows what's going on with Spurs. Why are you so happy that you lost, cuz?
I don't care about the Champions League, but exactly. No one knows what's going on with Spurs. Exactly. Calm. You lot are just not winning league.
Yeah, you're a loser. You're a loser. Your gal's gonna leave you. Your gal's gonna leave you, mate. When have Spurs been involved in anything? Don't act like Madison and them man not shit.
76 games.
You do realize and it's been like 200 years and 200 million days since you won the league, mate. You do know Levy's not, mate. You do, yeah, mate. Spurs have never been in a title race and never won it. If football ends tomorrow, what have you done? You do realize no Champions League is going to make it harder to attain players, right?
Why are you playing Kenya up front? I think that's the way forward. Maybe you win the league.
Mate, and when will Spurs win the league? Done. Hey, I hope they take your part.
Best win on Sunday.
I hope your passport that you somehow lose it and you don't come home, man. You're chatting bad shit on the roads. You're a piece of shit. You're actually a piece. Yeah. Spurs fans are actually a piece of shit. Chicken's happy about getting fried.
Hey, I was going to go to the game as well, but I couldn't make it, man.
What, you're back in the ends?
No, exactly.
All right, I was about to say, what's going on?
No, back Monday.
Yeah, hopefully you lose your passport. And we'll see what's funny there, mate.
Oh, man,
Man, fuck off, man.